It's time for Waking Up with Wesley, today's forecast and weather-wise discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Hello there, and welcome to Waking Up with Wesley. I'm senior meteorologist Wesley Williams. So this is a look at another change in our weather pattern, folks. We are going to see a true fall feel arrive in the area this week. And I completely predict that some of you will be using your home heaters before this week is done. So this is the reason why we are tracking a cold front. It's located on this map here off to our west as of Tuesday morning. And it is kicking up some showers ahead of it this morning in the plains. More importantly, it's got some cooler temperatures right along it. As you can see, where the front is located, that's what separates the cooler air behind it from the milder air ahead of it. So that's why this morning, parts of the Gulf Coast, like Texas, as well as parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, we are in the 60s and 70s. But then the colder air on the other side of that front coming in from the north, you can see places in the northern plains down into the 30s this morning. And then you go farther back toward Montana, they are into the 20s. So it's, freezing behind this front. It's definitely not a little rinky-dink cool front like the ones we've seen earlier this season. And that means this one means business. And it's time to act like it. You're going to want to have your sweaters ready for tomorrow. You are going to want to make sure that your home heater is prepared in case you are going to make that switch from air conditioning to heater this week. A lot of times when you turn your home heater on for the first time of the season, you can get that kind of dust burn off smell. So just be prepared for that. Hopefully everything is in working order. It's always a good idea to get your system maintained a couple of times a year in case there's any issues. Now, this morning's temperatures are cooler than yesterday morning, although they're nothing like what we'll see the next few mornings. There's a look at the planner for the remainder of Tuesday. Temperatures reaching the upper 70s, middle and upper 70s in some places for the last time this week. I don't think we're going to see too many more 70s this week. So let's track it out for you with the Futurecast. Tuesday, we are on the relatively warm side today compared to what's about to happen. And we're watching the strong cold front approaching from the west. There's Tuesday night, scattered showers ahead of the front. And this is really after midnight, so it's really Wednesday morning. And then you go to Wednesday, the rain's gone, the air's turning much drier. It's also cooling down too, and it's also getting windier. If we can get some sunshine tomorrow, then we'll be in good shape to get temperatures in the middle to upper 60s. But if we don't get enough sunshine, then there might be a problem temperature. And really, clouds are going to play a real factor in our temperature outlook for the next 2 or 3 days and 2 or 3 nights. More on that in a moment. But let's get you through the Futurecast tonight. In case you have any Tuesday night overnight plans, you will want to have rain gear nearby. 10 p.m., 30% chance. 1 a.m., 50% chance. 4 a.m., 50% chance. And then 7 in the morning, the chance decreasing. So by the time the sun comes up, most of the rain will be gone behind that front. All right, let's get you through this late October cool snap. So today, one last relatively warm day with temperatures in the middle, maybe upper 70s. Tonight it's becoming breezy as that front moves in. Temps could drop all the way to the lower 50s for some of us. Tomorrow afternoon, no 70s in sight. if we can get a decent amount of sun, then we should be able to at least get to the mid and upper 60s, which is about 10 degrees cooler than today, as well as about 10 degrees cooler than normal. So that's already just 24 hours away. Once you go from today to tonight to tomorrow, you're already noticing the change. Now tomorrow night, it's still breezy, and the temperatures might actually go all the way into the middle 40s. So breezy plus chilly, not very comfortable in short sleeves. When you step out the door Thursday morning, you're going to probably want to have a sweater. And then you go to Thursday afternoon, we're still not going to hit 70. So another day with no real warm up. Middle and upper 60s is the best we'll be able to do if we get enough sunshine. If we don't, then we might not even get to the numbers you see there. Now, the clouds work in a reverse fashion for our overnight temperatures. You see, we are anticipating there to be clouds Wednesday night to Thursday morning. So because of that, we are anticipating the temperature to not get cooler. If we have a clear sky, it's usually cooler. If we have a cloudier sky, it's usually not as cool overnight. So that's why these are the numbers we're going for Wednesday night. If it were a clear sky, we'd probably have lower 40s. And if it weren't as breezy, we'd probably have lower 40s. But because the winds are up, because the clouds could be up, that might keep our overnight temperatures from crashing. But the difference when we go to Thursday night and Friday morning is that there won't be as much wind. There will also not be as many clouds. That's going to help the temperatures to rapidly fall overnight. And that's why those are going to be the lowest numbers on our thermometer of this entire week. When you step out the door Friday, some spots will barely be in the 40s. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see a 39. Right now we're going middle and lower 40s, which would be around 10 to 15 degrees below normal for our part of the map this time of year. And for most of the season, you've managed maybe to avoid using your home heater because even though we've had some kind of cool, if not chilly mornings, at least it's warmed up in the afternoons. But because we're about to go through at least a 2-day stretch, maybe a 3-day stretch, that it does not warm up very much in the afternoon, yeah, now you don't have any help, right? So there's nothing between you and the chill. And you might be tempted to. I think more people are going to be tempted to make that switch from air conditioning to heater in their homes. So I'm just giving you that heads up that I'm calling it now. I think some people will wind up doing that. So putting it all together in your 7-day forecast, biggest rain chance of the next 7 days tonight. And it's not 100%. I think some people will miss out on the rain, but that's going to be our best chance to see it. Then after the night's rain chance, it turns windy for 2 days and chillier. And we'll finally see the wind stop on Halloween Friday, which may help us to get closer to 70 in the afternoon. I do expect there to be fewer clouds on Friday, more sun. So we have a better chance of actually hitting 70 on Friday. And then once we go to the weekend, we're returning to the 70s. So that will be some help. It won't be quite as chilly by the weekend. This weekend, I remind you, we fall back from daylight saving time to standard time. You gain an extra hour of sleep over the weekend. And my favorite part about that is that we get to enjoy our sunrise an hour earlier. Of course, we will have a sunset an hour earlier too, but them's the breaks. You can't win them all. So we'll switch gears now and talk about tropics. There's Hurricane Melissa. The latest information, that storm category 5 as of the 10 o'clock information, 9 or 10 o'clock information. We keep getting these rapid updates since the hurricane hunters are flying into the storm. So even though if you're watching this video live, this is the current info. If you're watching this video on playback hours into this afternoon or whatever, information might be outdated. They might have come in with a stronger wind. This thing has gotten stronger and stronger all morning. I've watched it go from 175 to 180 to now 185. Maybe it'll go even higher. I hope not. But that's a look at the eye. You're looking right at the eye of Category 5 Melissa. The National Hurricane Center telling Jamaicans that catastrophic winds are moving onshore. This is the last chance to protect your life. If you know any people, any friends, any family in Jamaica, this is going to be the one for them. There will be, and in our lifetime, there has been no stronger hurricane to touch this island than this one. You can even look into the eye of the storm there. I'll make this full screen for you. There's little mesovortices swirling around inside of the eye. That's something that really only happens with some of the most intense hurricanes. And the fact that you can see how clear the eye is, right? You can see right down to the surface, right there where those mesovortex clouds are swirling. It takes an intensely low pressure system to have the eye that clear, where you can just basically see right through it. So this is in rarefied air, in uncharted territory. There are few storms that have ever been this strong in the Atlantic Basin. If you want to do the numbers and the records, at least for now, you know, this could change in an hour. The thing gets stronger and just becomes the strongest. Right now, it's second place. The only storm ever recorded to be stronger than Melissa was Hurricane Allen of 1980, when it had 190-mile-per-hour winds. Of course, every time we mention this, we hear that Camille had 200-mile-per-hour winds. Based on the records that I have access to, it appears that Camille had 175-mile-per-hour winds. Camille may have had 400-mile-per-hour winds. Camille may have had 2,000-mile-per-hour winds. But we'll actually never know, because the storm destroyed the wind stations when it made landfall. So we actually will never know how strong Camille was. So I guess you could just put Camille at the top of every storm list, because it may have been the strongest storm since the earth began. I mean, it might have had 10,000-mile-per-hour winds. We'll really never know. But what we do know is that the recorded wind speed was 175 miles per hour. And with that knowledge, we can't rank it above Melissa. We can't rank it above any of the storms you see on this chart. Melissa second place to Allen of 1980. So if Melissa goes to 190, then it'll tie for strongest ever. And then if Melissa somehow goes to 195, then it will just be strongest ever. There's a storm, north-northeast movement at 9, pressure 892. It's 40 miles offshore of Jamaica. That's actually probably even closer than that at this point. It's just wherever ground zero is for that landfall, they won't recover in our lifetime. That it will take longer than all of us are alive for that part of Jamaica to recover from wherever the ground zero of the eye wall of this storm touches, somewhere in western Jamaica. It's a very specific thing when you talk about eye walls, though. Usually an eye wall is not a very big area that covers an entire island like Jamaica. I'll show you what I mean. As you see the storm racing off toward the northeast, and you got the forecast cone there, if the islands of Jamaica, the islands of East Cuba can knock into the storm, that will help to get the intensity down before it reaches near Bermuda later this week or this weekend. So here's what I mean by the specific strongest part of the storm. You're looking at a map that shows where there's a risk of hurricane winds. Notice that there's none over Haiti. There's none over the Dominican Republic. There's none over most of Cuba. And wow, how specific is that? There's actually no chance of hurricane wind over East Jamaica, according to the National Hurricane Center. So that area where that specific hurricane wind chance will be is only on the west side of the island. And where you will, there's an even smaller area. If we did, this is a chance for 74 wind. If we did a chance for 150 wind or a chance for 185 wind, I mean, it would just be the tiniest little pinhole on this map. You wouldn't even be able to see it unless we zoomed in. So chance for 185 wind is only going to be in the very, like 1 mile radius, probably, near wherever that direct landfall occurs, wherever that ground zero is. It's only going to be like a 1 mile, 1 to 5 mile radius of that. You're not going to see hundreds and hundreds of miles touched by 185 winds. The 185 winds touch probably a 1 to 5 mile wide spot right somewhere on the western side of the island. But this is good news as it shows the specific information. I don't like to generalize and say, oh my goodness, every island will be wiped away. When you look at this, it really, really helps to paint the picture of how good the technology is, by the way, that you can forecast specifically where the danger is. You know, 100 years ago, if this storm was forecast, you'd have whole islands running away and evacuating. But with this type of information, you can really clarify exactly where the most dangerous part of the storm is expected to go. You're also looking at the rain impacts. It's not just a windstorm, it's got rain too. It's got surge, it's got surf. There's gonna be landslides, mudslides, flash flooding. It's really just a horrible thing. I hate that storms like this can even touch land. Storms this strong should really just be over water. There's no one who should have to deal with something like this in their lifetime. But that's the reality we face in 2025, and I hate it. I hate that people are going to have to deal with this. Melissa's staying at Category 5, Jamaica bracing for the direct hit. I'm happy to report our local area has no hurricane concerns for the next 5 to 7 days, and the season will officially come to an end next month. Can't wait for that. But my heart goes out and my thoughts go out to anyone in Jamaica and anyone that knows anyone in Jamaica, because it's really going to be quite a rough time over the next 24 hours as they go through the brunt of the storm. Well, that'll pretty much do it for today's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. Like I said, go find your sweater. You'll regret it, or you'll be looking around for it tomorrow. So go spend time today, find it. You'll probably wind up putting it to good use as we go to the chillier weather pattern later this week. Well, that'll do it for today. We'll see you again next time. Till then, take care.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers,